Roller coasters are awesome. They can go upside down, effortlessly climb to great heights, and do all of this while storming through the metal or wooden track at high speeds. There's something just so silly, but so undeniably cool about them. And that's probably what I love the most. Well, that and the unparalleled adrenaline rush of a good coaster. Unfortunately, their potential is being squashed. Capitalism, in its innate nature, does no good to roller coasters, and has diminished their potential through its value of profit over passion. The profit-based nature of amusement park companies, roller coasters are oftentimes unable to reach the immersive highs of some of the world's premier rides, and often lack immersive theming or any philosophical meat. This doesn't have to be the way things are. In this video, I'd like to present a means through which we can see the faults of the roller coaster industry, and perhaps even redefine what a roller coaster could be. I'm gonna be completely honest with you, amusement parks kinda suck. And no, it's not just Six Flags. I love going to these places much, if not more than the next guy. I've been to both chains, and I've seen the differences between them. Even I have to say that the inherent structure of these parks leaves way too much to be desired. See, roller coasters aren't made by the amusement park, but instead by different roller coaster manufacturers. These companies are responsible for the design, construction of these roller coasters, and sell different roller coaster types which are bought by amusement parks. Now the parks get to decide where the coaster is built, what the name will be, what the theme will be, and how it's going to be marketed. And that can ruin a coaster. What's the theme? A bull. But now that you know that from these travesties, look at this thing, it's a freaking candy! Due to the nature of this industry, we're constantly seeing new developments and technological advancements from the manufacturing side for the flashiest, newest, and most advanced rides, which is admittedly pretty cool to see. Unfortunately, these rides are rarely ever bought since parks tend to lean towards safer options that are guaranteed to turn out profit. You'll see headlines for this amazing, incredible 400-foot ride that has inversions, airtime, and a runtime of about 3 minutes. And then never hear about it ever again. It's a little frustrating to say the least. I recall hearing about this T-Rex coaster concept all the way back in 2015. And I remember being really excited to see what would come of it. The whole community was swept up in the height of the time. Can you blame them? I mean, early photos showed real physical track, and even coaster trains. And Rocky Mountain was, and still is, on the top of the industry. It was a surefire success. Cut to the present day, and I kid you not, it's never been bought. Why? Just wouldn't make enough money. Like any good business, amusement parks focus solely on the pursuit of profit, and paying exorbitant fees for themed rides, while sometimes possible, is certainly not profitable. In a capitalist society, this is understandable, if a bit frustrating at times, because of the underlying faults within such a society. When money is prioritized over passion, coasters are oftentimes forced to exist solely at short 2 to 3 minute long adrenaline rushes, oftentimes being duplicated at several parks. A particularly infamous example of this within the coaster industry was the incredibly high prevalence of boomerang coasters during the early 80s. These coasters were incredibly common, due in large part to the comparatively inexpensive nature, a basic layout that the vast majority of people can be intimidated by, and a unique gimmick which basically involved the coaster going through the track forwards or careening again backwards, hence the name. One other thing, these rides are absolutely awful. Boomerang coasters are genuinely a painful experience, and due to its literally identical layout, each version of the ride is the same torture session all over again. However, because of the aforementioned draws, the ride sold, and now they're everywhere. In fact, there are currently 55 of these coasters in operation as of 2022, making these rides the world's most financially successful roller coaster models of all time. The simple fact is, roller coasters do not benefit from a profit motive. In fact, they're dramatically harmed by it. Given that the boomerang boom occurred well into the 80s, one may argue that's an ill-fitting example of how capitalism and coasters intersect in the present day. However, the ill effects of capitalism are plain to see in the modern world of roller coasters. For a significant period of time, Rollercoasters strove to be the largest, fastest, and most extreme rides available. This era was known as the Coaster Wars, essentially a back-and-forth struggle between America's two leading amusement park companies as to who had the most absurd roller coasters. Now, from an outsider's point of view, this seems like a really intense war. But let's just go back to that part earlier where we were talking about how the roller coaster industry works. See, roller coasters aren't made by the amusement park, but instead by different roller coaster manufacturers. Yeah, it was never an actual war between the actual designers as much as it was a war for who would pay more. Now, we got some world-class roller coasters from this time period, like Millennium Force, X2, arguably those original Batman the Ride clones, but these trends shifted dramatically when entering the later years of the wars. The sheer financial gains of being able to advertise the world's tallest, fastest, steepest, etc. roller coaster led to some pretty bad rides being designed. Beginning with Top Thrill Dragster and King Dakar, a new breed of roller coaster was born. A breed that was able to reach top speeds over 120 miles per hour, heights of over 400, and just about nothing else. Sounds cool? Maybe, if it were an actually good ride. Yeah, these newly created strata coasters were the most bland, uninteresting roller coasters, quite literally being a giant spire that reached to 400 or so feet before falling back down. Do they go upside down? No. Do they offer a unique unparalleled experience? No, not really. Do they have good airtime? Which should be the bare minimum. They're literally 400 feet. They go straight up. That is the whole point of their existence. This is pain. Despite being an absolute one-trick pony, both rides were major monetary powerhouses for their respective parks, raking in a huge cash flow. Why? Well, you see, they were really tall metal sticks. In fact, they were the tallest metal sticks. I'm pretty sure even the least knowledgeable park goer could see the absolute absurdity of this. It's not reaching for the skies because that's what the ride necessitates. It's going high because of the marketing department. When profit, not passion, motivates instruction, design, and planning of a ride, the end result always suffers. Okay, I don't know about you, but if you're trying to send a message, whether it be a story or a political argument, I don't think there exists a more visceral way of doing so than a roller coaster. Like many amusement rides, designers have total control over what the riders can see, hear, and most of all, experience. After all, most of our modern day roller coasters take into account all sorts of variables when being designed and built, including but not limited to airtime, vertical and horizontal G-forces, how long riders can be held before a drop, etc. A unique ride can make an absolutely impactful statement with these tools which hold a unique storytelling potential greater than that of cinema. In our capitalistic society, that ride can never exist, because that ride would never be profitable. A ride that tries to tell a story or tell you on something more than just thrills would probably be a world-renowned master class of a coaster, but it certainly wouldn't appeal to the general public. It's a niche that has a lot of potential, but a niche nonetheless. We've already seen dark rides begin to go through this transformation at some parks, with the universally acclaimed Rise of the Resistance being a great example of a very, very immersive attraction with several moving gears to create an unparalleled experience. It's not that roller coasters can't take advantage of those innate qualities, it's just that they aren't allowed to. In a society where people are driven by passion and not monetary gain, coasters could evolve. Maybe we'd never see a 500-foot roller coaster. We'd absolutely see rides that redefine what can be done here, made by people who have a genuine passion for these machines. What I'm trying to say here is there's something wrong with the way things are. Now, I would far from say it's any particular facet's fault. It's not the amusement park's fault that, as a faceless conglomerate, they prioritize money over all else. Not the roller coaster manufacturer's fault for making absolutely horrible rides that sell like hotcakes. Okay, maybe a little bit on that last one. But the fact is, these companies operate as they are dictated to under a capitalist system. These occasional slip-ups aren't merely the signs of an aging industry, but instead signs of an aging society. Societies, like roller coasters, evolve as time progresses. Sometimes those evolutions are really, really dumb, like the Togo Ultra Twister model, which exists solely to take riders and swivel them around in an uncomfortable metal box for a solid minute. Even so, we take those evolutions and improve upon them, rather than stay stubborn in undue ignorance. Roller coasters can be immersive experiences. They can be memorable. And heck, they can even be really freaking dumb. There's a level of ingenuity that lies beneath. Roller coasters are, arguably, the essence of humanity, hungering desperately to destroy the limits of what is possible and make the most out of shattering those limits. When made to be profit-based endeavors, they forget that last part.